Outside roof is closed up. It is nice and comfortable inside Miller Park as Zach Davies and the Brew Crew ready to take on the Colorado Rockies. After losing yesterday, the Brewers trying to get back to winning ways and even up their season schedule. As you take a look at the Potawatomi batting order for Colorado, Charlie Blackmon, DJ LeMahieu, Carlos Gonzalez at the top, Arenado, Story, and Parra in the middle, with Reynolds, Walters, and the lefty Tyler Anderson rounding out the starting nine. And Rock, last season, a breakthrough season for Zach Davies, established himself as a legitimate big league pitcher.
Yeah, the poise of a guy that's been in the league about 10 years. Nothing seems to bother him. You can see those numbers outstanding. All that after starting his season last year 0-3, earned run average near 9. He certainly turned things around quite a bit.
24 years of age, first start of the year. Had 6 starts in spring training. And his first offering, Blackmon drops a bunt down. It's going to roll foul. And that's how we get started tonight. Great to have you with us. 1 down, 161 to go, partner.
Yeah, well, you knew you weren't going to win all of them, so you know, you don't have to worry about that now.
Well, this Colorado Rockies team proved yesterday that they are going to be a threat in the National League West. A rebuilt bullpen, new manager in Bud Black got his first win as the skipper of the Colorado Rockies after 9 years with the San Diego Padres, and a former manager of the year in the National League back in 2010.
Yep, and a former pitcher in his playing days, so you figure that might help this Colorado pitching staff, you know, get through the season.
Now the Rockies in their remade bullpen. Their bullpen did not allow a run yesterday. Brewers made a valiant effort to come back. Put 5 on the board to get back into the game after they had trailed 4-0. That was a 5-run 5th inning where the Brewers batted around and then actually down a run, put a couple of men on base with nobody out, but couldn't quite push the door down. Some defensive lapses yesterday, 3 errors. And now the Brewers will try to put one in the win column as Blackmon sends one to left. Long run for Braun, and he runs out of room. Good effort by Ryan Braun.
Yeah, one of those games, the Brewers offense in a stretch of 11 pitches against John Gray, able to put up 5 runs and just couldn't get anything against that bullpen. That bullpen for Colorado, as you mentioned yesterday, I mean, the guys were throwing hard. I mean, good breaking stuff, and were not able to, you know, break through. They had a shot. There's John Gray.
Showed electric stuff yesterday. The 25-year-old made his first opening day start. And the Rockies, who are a little bit banged up right now, they have a number of key players out, including one of their big offseason acquisitions, Ian Desmond, as Davies misses down and away. Now the Rockies have David Dahl on the disabled list. Their starting outfielder, left fielder, out with a rib injury. One of their young prospect catchers, Tom Murphy, out with a broken arm, and Desmond out with a broken hand. All expected back, though, end April or by mid-May. And in the meantime, Rocky, look at this lineup up and down, and this is a team that feels like a contender in the West as Davies pulls the string, strikes out Blackmon.
Yeah, we talked about that pitch when we came on the air tonight. Outstanding changeup. Look at the way this pitch goes down and away from Charlie Blackmon, the left-handed hitter. You see the rotation on it, down and away, out of the zone, and Blackmon swings right through it. Good pitch for Zach Davies.
Davies last year finished 6th in the majors in percent of outs via the changeup. So about 27% of his outs came with that pitch right there, the changeup.
Yeah, one of the tops in all of baseball.
Kyle Hendricks led that category of the Cubs at just shy of 41% of his outs on the changeup. And there are a lot of comparisons between Kyle Hendricks of the Cubs and Zach Davies.
Yeah, Zach will throw just about everything at you. 4-seam it, 2-seam it, just threw a cutter. He worked very hard on that curveball in spring training, and it was a good pitch for him as spring training wound down.
Facing DJ LeMahieu, falling behind. There's strike 1. 2-1 the count on the batting champion in the National League from a year ago, DJ LeMahieu. 0 for 4 yesterday. all of his outs on the ground and a strikeout. And this one's on the ground, ranging over. VR, nice play. Out number 2. Let's set the Brewers defensively, partner.
Yeah, we only have one change from yesterday. You got Jesus Aguilar getting a start at first base. It was Eric Thames yesterday. You got Braun Broxton Santana in the outfield. You got Shaw had a good game yesterday at the plate and at third base. Arcia VR up the middle. And Jet Bandy back-to-back games behind home plate.
I was a little surprised at the lineup today, thinking Hernan Perez might get a start with the left-hander on the mound. But it is Aguilar who gets the call at first base. Allows Thames to settle in day 2, and I'm sure that's going to be a regular rotation. There's Carlos Gonzalez, and a little flare is going to fall for a base hit. And this might turn into extra bases. On his way to second, nobody's covering, and Gonzalez is in. Well, Jonathan VR has got to get into these games now.
Yeah, he was guilty of not covering second base on a stolen base attempt in yesterday's game. And now nobody at second base on that little flare into short left field. Not to say that he would have got an out, but you got to be there. There's a changeup. You can't really defend that. I mean, Carlos Gonzalez able to get the end of the bat on it and just does get in there. If he's standing at second base, that might be pretty close.
He made a heck of a play to keep that throw from going into right field. A throw that shouldn't have been that difficult. But VR had his troubles defensively yesterday. This guy brings a lot to the table, Jonathan VR. An incredibly skilled player defensively and offensively, but he has had some early lapses that have you scratching your head right now.
Brewers had 3 errors yesterday, and they were key errors in that game. Got to tighten it up.
So it brings Arenado to the plate. As Sophia mentioned, one of the elite players in the game. You probably put him top 5 across the board in all of Major League Baseball. Brings the offense and the defense. Tied with Chris Carter for the National League lead in home runs last year. Of course, Carter playing here for the Brewers. Arenado hit 41 last year. He led the National League in RBIs with 133 and has 263 RBIs in his last 2 seasons. That is the most in the majors.
Yeah, he's something else, and he's not afraid to shake it up in that clubhouse and in the dugout. We've seen him do that on a number of occasions. Always good to have a guy that will do that from time to time, get his guys into it.
He's up there with 2 outs, a double by Gonzalez. And Davies going into some stress pitches early, and the changeup misses low and away. And Arenado, his ranks in Major League Baseball since the 2015 season, and you see he has been one of the great hitters, and that's not even close to the story of Arenado. His offense, it is a big part of the story, but his defense is as good as it gets, and we saw it yesterday.
He made a great play on Ryan Braun.
And Davies working around Arenado, walks him. First and second with 2 outs. And here comes Trevor Story.
Hey, even with first base open, you walk Arenado and you have to deal with this guy, Trevor Story, who's no slouch at the plate. You can see those numbers. Less than 100 games, 27 homers. Not bad for a shortstop.
2 on, 2 out. We're just underway. Glad you're with us. Don't forget, Mondays and Tuesdays this year, games at Miller Park. First pitch will be 6:40, which puts us on the air at 6 o'clock Central Time. Got to make those Monday, Tuesday adjustments.
Yeah.
I like that, though. I like the Monday, Tuesday early start. Crowd will be filing in. A lot of folks getting off work and making their way to the ballpark here tonight.
Get the kids home in time for, get up early for school.
Story breaks his bat. That is a foul ball.
Yeah, Davies has not broken out that curveball yet. It's been, fastballs, changeups, the cutter. Maybe just saving that perhaps second time through.
What a year last year for Davies, and Rock pointed out his struggles in his first 3 games. He was probably a bad start away from being shipped back to AAA Colorado Springs. He had an ERA of 8.78 after his first 3 starts. And then the rest of the year, 11 wins, a 3.54 earned run average. And he emerged as one of the best pitchers the Brewers have. And at 24 years of age, this will be his age 24 season. He is going to be part of this rebuild. And as Mark Atanasio put yesterday, the owner, part of the success moving forward.
Yeah.
He's going to be a centerpiece in that rotation, you would imagine.
A guy that always seems to be in control of his emotions and really never seems to really get rattled out on the mound, which is really unusual for a kid his age.
1 ball, 1 strike. 2 men are on. First inning, and a little half swing roller. Nobody's at first base, and nowhere for Aguilar to make the play.
Yeah, that's one of those where Aguilar just got to stay put. That would have been a relatively easy play for VR, but you know, I guess if you're Aguilar, you're thinking, if I can get to it, I'm gonna try and get it. But that's one that is a play for VR for sure. A check swing. Aguilar goes after it, but has no play. You can see how far off the bag he is, and that'll be a base hit.
So the bases are loaded now with 2 outs. And here comes Gerardo Parra, the former Brewer. Parra and Davies are connected via the trade that sent Parra from Milwaukee to Baltimore and brought Davies from the Orioles here to the Brewers. That was 2 seasons ago. The Orioles were in the hunt, needed an outfielder. Felt like they could trade from a position of strength, and Davies was still a bit of a tweener. Did he have enough stuff? Did he have enough velocity pitch in the big leagues and have success? I think that camp was split, and they decided to part ways with Davies.
Well, the stuff is not why he's here in the big leagues and has been successful. It's everything else. You know, the mentality, you know, the poise out there on the mound, able to put pitches where he wants them. He doesn't have eye-popping stuff by any stretch, but he just gets people out.
Parra ended up in Baltimore and then became a free agent, signed a multi-year deal with the Rockies, now in his 2nd season in Colorado. Broken bat. VR gobbles this one up, and Davies gets through what could have been a mess of a first inning. Rockies strand him loaded. Here come the Brewers for the first time tonight. 3rd season, 2nd full season he begins, and a big part of this rebuild, Wisconsin's own Craig Counsell, and his Potawatomi batting order with VR, Broxton, and Braun at the top, Santana, Shaw, and Aguilar in the middle, and then Counsell has Bandy, his 2nd consecutive start, followed by Arcia and Davies. And there is the left-hander, Tyler Anderson, on the mound for Colorado, the 27-year-old. His 2nd start at Miller Park, his 2nd start against the Brewers. He had 10 strikeouts against Milwaukee last year in August.
Yeah, but he picked up a loss. Kind of a herky-jerky delivery. Can't be caught up in that if you're out there trying to hit against this guy. Missed all of 2015 with an elbow injury.
And VR, the switch hitter, batting right-handed to start it tonight. Jonathan had a good day at the plate yesterday as far as runs delivered. He had a 2 RBI double in the 5th inning. And got the Brewers on the board. He chases one, down he goes on strikes.
Well, the Menards defense for the Colorado Rockies, you got a bunch of Gold Glovers out there on the field. You got Parra, Blackman, Gonzalez in the outfield. Arenado, Story on the left side, LeMahieu and Reynolds on the right. Reynolds with a big day at the plate yesterday, and Walters behind home plate, hanging the signs for Anderson. You're going to see a lot of changeups in today's game between Anderson and Zach Davies.
Keon Broxton elevated in the lineup tonight, hit 2nd for Craig Counsell. He's been toying with that lineup quite a bit throughout the spring, trying to make a decision whether it's VR or Broxton to hit leadoff, and then once Counsell chose VR, who hit 2nd, Broxton elevated here tonight. And he pops this one up. Foul territory. 2 quick outs for Anderson.
Yeah, Eric Thames not in the starting lineup today. He was in the 2 spot yesterday. So with the left hand, you got Broxton up there. And not going to be surprised to see a lot of lineup changes to see what kind of combination Craig Counsell likes the best. You're going to see a lot of different players in and out of that lineup. Of course, this guy is going to be in there as much as possible, Ryan Braun.
What a year last year for Braun. 30 and 91 for Ryan. And a good bounce back year for him, dealing with injuries and the suspension over the last 3 years. It has been a rocky ride as far as off-season preparations for Braun, covering those 3 years. But he said this year was normal. This offseason felt normal, felt good. He was able to do what he wants. He still has to have some maintenance on that thumb, the right thumb, which has nerve damage. But that'll be something he'll deal with the rest of his career. And it seems, Rock, that they found a pretty good plan for him.
Going to have to give him some days off. He is 33 years old. Doesn't sound like very old, but you know, Braun, you figure 130, 135 games this year. I think that's the goal for the Brewers. When he did that last year, he was very productive. I think one of his best seasons, given everything that he had gone through.
Moved back to left field last year, where he is most comfortable. Ryan gets regular injections in that thumb, and they're pretty systematic on when they come, and then it sets him up for the rest of the year. So he had one in spring training, and then there's usually one around the All-Star break. I'm not sure what the plan this year is, but that has been the rhythm of those injections that numb the damaged nerve in that thumb. In his 11th year in the big leagues with the Brewers. His 10th opening day yesterday. Father of 2 now. We've seen him grow up right before our eyes, from Rookie of the Year to MVP, and now he is the senior member of this roster.
Yeah.
And the Brewers franchise leader in home runs. He's got a chance to hit the 300 home run mark this season. He will certainly do that as long as he stays healthy.
There's that cut fastball right there for Anderson. He's thrown just about everything at the Brewers in this first inning. He's got the fastball up as high as 95 miles an hour. He's thrown some changeups. That was a cutter. And that's pretty much it. He's not going to throw much else.
2-2 to Braun. And that one is low, ball 3.
A little quick pitch that time.
Didn't have that normal hesitation in the delivery. Ryan Braun sitting on 285 career home runs. And he lines one. Look at Arenado again to his feet, and twice in as many days he takes a hit away from Ryan Braun. This guy is special defensively. What a play. My goodness. Nolan Arenado, 4 consecutive Gold Gloves. Plays like that, he's on his way to number 5, and Ryan Braun says, you got to be kidding me. Taken away by the Gold Glove third baseman Nolan Arenado. A 3-up 3-down inning for Tyler Anderson, and here we go to the second. Mark Reynolds leads off for Colorado. Zach Davies back to work, stranding the bases loaded. Brewers were a little shaky defensively in that first inning.
Game ended with Ryan Braun hitting one just like that, turned into a double play to end the game for Colorado.
And that was no small play yesterday afternoon either, because if Braun reaches, suddenly the Brewers have a chance to not only tie the game but maybe win the game in the 9th inning. Instead, Arenado turned it into 2 as Reynolds breaks his bat.
So I guess the point for Ryan Braun is hit it to somebody else.
Yeah, hit him where they ain't, especially where Arenado ain't. Which is hard to find a spot over there on the left side where he ain't.
Seems like he's everywhere, doesn't it? Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Reynolds. 3 RBIs yesterday Hit a 2-run homer, plating the first 2 runs of the year for Colorado and the first home run of the season. Reynolds will get the playing time with Ian Desmond on the disabled list. Former Brewer Mark Reynolds back in the 14 season, and he reaches out and slams one through the hole. So just like yesterday, a 2-strike hit. This one stays in the ballpark, but Reynolds, he is aboard to start it.
Yeah, off-speed pitch from Zach Davies. I think it was a changeup once again. He hit a splitter from Junior Guerra out of the ballpark yesterday. A very similar swing out in front, but this time able to hit it hard into left field.
So Reynolds is on for Tony Walters, left-handed hitting catcher. Rockies feature 5 left-handed hitters in their starting lineup, including the pitcher Anderson. And Walters on the first pitch fouls it away. Sometimes managers against a changeup pitcher will go the opposite. They'll try to stack right-handed batters against a right-handed pitcher, and certainly Davies has good success against lefties with the changeup.
But he's not afraid to throw it to right-handers either. It's one of his best pitches. He's going to throw it to anybody.
Jet Bandy hanging the signs for him today. Second start for Bandy. And that one just missed. So if you think about Davies and you think about the changeup and pitching in pairs, that's the other part of his great changeup, is the inside corner to a left-handed hitter, and that's a spot he normally commands very well.
Yeah, the fastball, it sets up everything. The fastball, be able to command it in and out, doesn't throw very hard, and then that all sets up the changeup.
The 1-1. Walters on the ground, chance to turn it. VR, Arcia in time, and a double play. Taylor made as it goes 4-6-3.
Love got in on his hands. I think it was the fastball that time. Yep, a 2-seamer. Yeah, Walters not able to get the barrel of the bat on it. Beats it into the ground. Just enough movement to keep it on the ground, and that's about as easy as it gets. Yeah, the strong arm to Arcia able to get that one over to Aguilar easily.
A young phenom shortstop, Orlando Arcia. He's going to be fun to watch this year. What a defender he is. Here's the pitcher, Tyler Anderson, with 2 away. Yesterday aside, the Brewers are counting on a much better defensive team than what we saw last year. Good speed in the outfield, good throwing arms in the outfield. A lot of range up the middle in VR and Arcia. The corners will be a question. You know, Shaw can pick it at third base. He doesn't have great range from what we saw this spring, but everything he can get to, he makes the play. He's got a good, strong throwing arm as well.
I think focus is going to be an issue once in a while for a young ball club. That's what creates the errors a lot of times. And 2 of the errors yesterday by the Brewers were just, you know, errors that were created by lack of, I guess, preparation and focus.
2-2 to the pitcher Anderson, and he fouls it away.
Never taken out for granted. I mean, sometimes that happens and bad things happen.
Fly ball into left center, and Broxton and Braun converge. It'll be Braun to haul it in. Side retired. Good inning for Zach Davies. We head to the second. Domingo Santana will lead off.
In our car scoops from the clubhouse, plenty of news today surrounding opening day starter Junior Guerra. He left the game in the 3rd inning with a strained right calf, placed on the 10-day disabled list, and MRI revealed that it is a significant calf strain for Guerra, so he is expected to miss anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, but counsel saying it could be longer. So in the short term, it will be the lefty Tommy Milone who will take Guerra's spot in the rotation on Saturday against the Cubs. And they're hopeful that Guerra, again, will make that time on the DL and will come back again in 6 weeks or so. In other news, Matt Garza threw a simulated game earlier today. They are hopeful that he could come back as early as next week to make a rehab start with AAA Colorado Springs. Counsel saying he'll likely need 2 rehab starts before joining the major league team again. That could be before the end of the month. And we talked about Jonathan Villar's defense, particularly the throwing error he made in the 9th yesterday. Counsel said, you know, he's going to learn the most from games like that. And so he said it was a play that internal clock he's still developing, moving over to second base, moving over to the other side of the base from shortstop, saying that, you know, that's a play that experience will teach him to learn not to make that throw in that situation.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Good information there. And as Guerra goes on the disabled list, I think the Brewers are not very optimistic about throwing the numbers out there, how long he's going to be out. Bruce Sutter, excuse me.
We wish it was Bruce Sutter, right?
Not Bruce. Brent Sutter is here from AAA Colorado Springs. They have yet to open their season, but Sutter, the left-hander, has arrived to give the Brewers some length in the bullpen, and he'll be available tonight and can pitch multiple innings. Matter of fact, he was stretched out to be a starter and has gone at least 4 in the exhibition schedule. So the Brewers are covered in that category, and I'm sure Sutter is delighted to be back in the big leagues as opposed to Colorado Springs, where it is snowing today as they get set for their opener tomorrow. And Santana strikes out to start this 2nd inning.
And Sutter certainly is a guy that can give you multiple innings. You got 2 guys that can give you, 2 or 3 innings perhaps. Sutter, one of them. And Taylor Youngman. So you got 2 long men out in that bullpen. Tommy Milone going to get a start Saturday, I believe it is.
Yeah, Milone will get the Cubs, right? And power-packed lineup that the Cubs will bring here to Miller Park. Brewers are probably going to see the 2 best offenses in the National League back-to-back, the Rockies and the Cubs. Travis Shaw with 1 away. Had the first hit of the year for the Brewers. He doubled down the left field line yesterday.
And watching him in spring training against left-handed pitching, he's got the kind of swing that you would think he's going to have some success against lefties. Really doesn't pull off the baseball much. Has a nice level swing. Keeps the.
Oh, that one's deep. Way back in right field. Shaw off the base of the wall, and now Shaw winds it up and will slide into second with a double. I think he thought he hit it out when it left the bat.
I did too. Sounded good. Might have got it off the end just a little bit. But again, I mean, he's a guy that looks like he's going to have success against lefties. It's a cutter. It stayed in the middle part of the plate, actually middle in, right off the end. And he thinks he got it. It sounded pretty good, but stayed in the ballpark. It'll be a double. But he keeps that bat in the hitting zone a long time. Watch how nice and level that swing is. And ball just jumped off his bat, even though he didn't get it on the sweet spot.
Well, he's excited for the chance to prove he's an everyday third baseman against right-handers or left-handers, and he's in there tonight and responds right away for his manager with a 1-out double. And that brings up Jesus Aguilar. Aguilar had a pinch hit appearance yesterday, had a base hit, swung at the first pitch, part of that 5-run inning for Milwaukee yesterday in the 5th. Aguilar had a monster spring. Brewers got him from the Indians, claimed him off waivers, and that ball is whistled into center field. In to score is Shaw, bobbled by Blackman, and Aguilar will pull up the reins at first, his first RBI as a Brewer. And the 2 lineup decisions that Craig Counsell had to make both deliver in the 2nd inning.
How about Jesus Aguilar? You got to really feel good for a guy like that. I mean, toiling in the minor leagues, got an opportunity, and his first 2 plate appearances for the Brewers, you can't ask for anything more. I like a changeup that it was going down and away. He goes back on it and just whistles it out there in the center field. Shaw able to score easily. Good for him. Boy, what a nice swing he's putting on the baseball right now.
Aguilar had a monster year in AAA last year for the Indians, was the MVP of that league. He had 30 homers, over 90 RBIs.
And nothing left to prove in minor leagues, right?
1-0 Brewers. They take the first lead tonight as Jet Bandy, the new Brewer catcher, at the plate. Bandy with the Angels last year, came over to the Brewers in an offseason trade. Martin Maldonado went the other way. And a brand new catching core in Milwaukee with Bandy and Manny Pena to start the year on the roster. Andrew Susac, who was acquired from the Giants in the Will Smith deal last year, he is on the disabled list to start the season. Figure we'll see all three of those catchers at some point. Broken bat, bouncer to Arenado, to second out there, and a double play to end the inning. But the Brewers strike first, and an RBI machine in the minor leagues has its first RBI in the big leagues as a member of the Brewers. Through the first 2 innings scoreless, stranded the bases loaded in the first. He got a double play ball after a single in the second inning, and here he is now, second time through the order, top of the order, facing Blackmon.
You know, it's one thing to be a thinking man, right? I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that have a game plan going into a particular start, but what Davies is able to do is execute his game plan by putting pitches where he wants them, and a number of different pitches at different velocities. So just because he doesn't throw 95, 96 mile an hour with that electric slider does not mean he can't be successful. All you have to do, and it's a simple thing but a very difficult thing to incorporate, is put the baseball where you want it, and that's what he does very well.
Well, Davies is from the Pacific Northwest originally, and you might notice the giant tattoo on his forearm of the needle in Seattle. Still considers the Seattle area a home base, although he went to high school in Arizona just outside Phoenix. Still lives in the Phoenix area. He was a big Gonzaga Bulldog fan. He was disappointed that the Zags couldn't pull off the national championship last night, but he was following that ride closely all the way. Blackmon lines one into right center. Broxton over to cut it off, and a leadoff single for the Rockies leadoff hitter.
Yeah, tough to keep that guy down very long. Hitless yesterday, and a strikeout his first time up. Able to center on one. Not even sure it was a strike. It was down and in, and Blackmon hit it hard into center field.
So a leadoff batter reaches, and now DJ LeMahieu, who bounced to second base his first time up. The Brewers strike first tonight. RBI from Jesus Aguilar, if you're just picking us up. First RBI as a Brewer, the 6th RBI as a big leaguer for Aguilar, who got a little time, brief moments in the big leagues with the Indians.
He keeps swinging the bat like he is right now. He's not going to get brief opportunities with the Brewers. They got to figure out a way to keep him in the lineup if he keeps swinging the bat like that.
Yeah, and those plans have already started a little bit. Eric Thames has played some left field during the exhibition season, spring training, and that is an option for Craig Counsell. Braun is not a guy that's going to play all 162 games, and so there are going to be windows in left field, and we'll see how Craig Counsell will line him up. Thames is a left-handed hitter. Blackmon is a threat to run. Had 46 stolen bases in 2015, as a matter of fact. There's Eric Thames, gives Counsell a big bat off the bench tonight.
Got a pretty good, bench tonight. If you think about it, you got Hernan Perez, Manny Pena, who has yet to get in that bat. You figure that both of those guys are going to see action sometime in the next couple of days.
Rockies have a right-hander on the mound tomorrow, Tyler Chatwood. Willie Peralta will pitch for the Brewers. Remember, this is a 4-game series. It'll wrap up Thursday, and then the Cubs come in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 7-game homestand to start the year. LeMahieu takes low, 2-0 on the Rockies' number 2 hitter. This time last year, Davies was headed to AAA.
They're still trying to find that command. Almost as many balls as strikes. Unusual, for Zach Davies.
2-0 the count on LeMahieu and a check on Blackman. Davies has a very good move to first base. Hasn't broken out his A move just yet. Blackman looks like he wants to run. He takes off, and a little jam shot pop up and coming into, oh, it's in and out of the glove, and everybody's safe.
Man alive, how about that?
If VR makes that catch, it is a easy double play. Instead, in and out of the glove, and now 2 on. That'll be scored as a base hit.
And I tell you, there's a bad luck for Zach Davies. This is a good pitch. LeMahieu just gets eaten up. Well, VR was heading towards second base, had to readjust, and just in and out of the glove, a little bit off the heel of the glove. He catches it. It's a double play, but well, now there's nobody out. Runners at first and second. Just bad luck.
And that kind of start to the season defensively for Jonathan VR. They always say the baseball will find you, and playing a new position of second base, he has been right in the mixer already. So now Davies in deep trouble to start this 3rd inning. 2 on, nobody out, and the power of this Rockies order coming up. Here's Gonzalez. Carlos Gonzalez, an all-star last year. Bit of a comeback for him. He's dealt with injuries as well. Rockies are counting on contending this season. If they do not, however, you would imagine Carlos Gonzalez would become available for trade.
Well, it's going to be up to their pitching staff, because they're going to score some runs. I mean, it's a potent lineup. Even if you're not playing at Coors Field, but because they're at Coors Field, they're going to put up some monster numbers offensively. And it's always a tough place to go in and win. Big home field advantage at Coors Field for Colorado.
There's a strike. Good pitch. Now the Brewers finished the season in Colorado last year. Start the season this year against the Rockies. And Gonzalez, his last 3 years, injury riddled year in 14. Then he bounced back with 40 homers 2 years ago, and then another big season offensively last season. Swing and a miss. Tied him up with a fastball.
Yep, inside corner that time, right after a pitch on the outside corner to get him back in the count. 2 perfect pitches after falling behind 2-0.
Two and 2 the count. Brewers lead 1-0. We play in the 3rd, and a bouncer right, no, a liner right to Shaw. Runners hold their ground, and out number 1.
Well, a lot of handle shots off this Rockies batting order, right? And some of them have been falling in, but eating up Carlos Gonzalez 3 consecutive fastballs. Away then both times coming inside. That one left out over the plate just a little bit, but I think Davies fortunate it was right at Travis Shaw at 3rd base.
So one away, first and second for Nolan Arenado. Arenado has already made a sparkling defensive play, taking a hit away from Braun. Davies trying to get one on the ground off the bat of Arenado.
Jet Bandy going out flashing signs, thinking that perhaps the Rockies are thinking about a double steal. That's a little bit dangerous with Arenado at the plate. Better make sure you make it if you're stealing with him in the batter's box.
Oh, a nice block back there by Bandy. Keeps the runners at first and second, keeps the double play alive. He's been very impressive these first 2 days.
Yeah, for a big tall guy, even in spring training, he moves around pretty well. Watch how far out he goes and squares himself up. That's well done. Gets the glove on it. Shin guard with a little help. Pretty quick on his feet back there. He's about 6'3".
Yeah, he is 6'4". Yeah, it's a big guy that moves well. We saw a couple of terrific plays yesterday. And on the ground, past Shaw. That's going to be a fair ball. It's going to bring in one. And Arenado on his way to second with an RBI double. So the Rockies come back. They tie it up. And Arenado has his first RBI of the season.
You see that two-seam fastball. It's in on him. It's exactly where he wanted it. But Arenado just too good of a hitter. He's able to get it out of the reach of Shaw. It looked like it went off his glove and down into the corner. And the Rockies tie it up. This is a very difficult lineup to get through. 1 through 8.
All even, one apiece. And now Trevor Story with runners at second and third. Another play by Bandy. Story's big power threat himself. Rockies have found a good one in this young shortstop. Tore ligaments in his thumb last year, in his left thumb. Big power hitter. Not often you find a shortstop who's as skilled defensively as Story, who hits in the middle of an order. He is expected to hit home runs and drive in runs.
Rockies had one before he got here.
Troy Tulowitzki traded to the Blue Jays. That opened the door for Story. And he had a good year going.
You see Zach really scuffling with his command, and change ups down in the strike zone. If you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss.
Missed with a fastball.
But he's fallen behind a lot in this inning. A lot of 2-0, 1-0 counts for this Rockies offense. That's not where you want to be. And I don't think that Trevor Story might not be swinging here on 3-0.
Second and third, one away. And he's taking, and he takes a strike. Story played in 97 games last year, had 27 home runs. He had over 20 homers at the All-Star break. That injury came in August, early August. And he lost him. So Story doesn't bite. He'll draw the walk. That'll load the bases. That's not the worst thing for Davies. And now Derek Johnson, the pitching coach, on his way to the mound.
Yeah, just pitch count getting a little high right now as we work in the third inning. 57 pitches, and a lot of pitches out of the strike zone for Zach. And it's not something that you see a lot of with him on the mound. He's usually attacking the strike zone. Just having a difficult time with the changeup, throwing it for strikes, or at least throwing it close enough to get a swing.
Second-year pitching coach Derek Johnson. Some words of encouragement, maybe a little bit of a breather too for Davies. He's had to work hard. But a ground ball double play away from getting out of this inning. Second time the Rockies have loaded the bases in the first 3 innings. Here's Gerardo Parra now. Davies could just as easily be out of this inning. Tough chance, but a little flare that popped in and out of the glove of VR. Parra had a good spring for the Rockies. After a down season last season, he had an ankle injury, a pretty bad ankle injury that never really let him get comfortable again after that. And then once you miss a little time and the bat gets a little slow, the timing gets off.
Right.
It's hard to bounce back.
And hard to get that consistent playing time once you've been on that disabled list. If you're in that wheel of a number of different outfielders, but what a season he had with the Brewers a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he's been a good player throughout his career. First with the Diamondbacks, won a couple of Gold Gloves with Arizona, won a Gold Glove one year as a 4th outfielder with the Diamondbacks. But his injury last year created some room for David Dahl, who emerged as a real talent for Colorado. And Dahl starts the year on the disabled list with a rib injury, so Parra gets the start in left field. Wave and a miss. Good pitch. Davies changed him up, and it's 1-2 on Parra.
Yeah, the pitch that he was able to get Parra on his last time up, very similar, 2-seamer. Had him roll over on one his first time up. He tried to pull off on that.
Bases are loaded. LeMahieu, Arenado, and Story. And the 1-2 is driven into right center field. That is trouble. That is going to one-hop off the wall in to score LeMahieu. Right behind him, Arenado, and a third run is coming in. Play at third, and Parra is out. So 3-run score on a double, and Parra the second out at third base.
Yep, he didn't hit his spot with that fastball right down the middle, and Gerardo Parra hit it hard out there in center field. That's a 3-run double for Gerardo Parra. Check this out. Look at the location. That was a 2-seamer that just stayed right down the middle of the plate, up in the strike zone, and he riddled it off the wall. One hop to center field fence. Yeah, good job out there by the Brewers to get the out at third base.
VR made the throw on the cutoff.
Right on the money, and an easy out at third with damage done.
4-1 Colorado after that big hit by Parra. Clears them. 2 outs, bases empty. Mark Reynolds at the plate. Parra's off to a good start, carrying over his successful spring. He had 2 hits yesterday and an RBI. Well, the guys that are in the lineup for injured players, Parra and Reynolds, have been their offensive stars in the first 2 games. Reynolds drove in 3 yesterday. Had 2 hits and a walk.
And hit the only bad pitch that Junior Guerra threw yesterday. A split-fingered fastball up in the strike zone, knocked it out of the ballpark. Parra took a fastball right down the middle and drove in 3 runs.
Been a long inning here for Zach Davies. Already at 65 pitches.
And only 33 strikes.
This is pitch number 30 of the inning for Davies. 3-1 the count. And he lost Reynolds.
No activity in that Brewers bullpen, and I think in large part because of the early exit for Junior Gary yesterday. The Brewers use a lot of the relievers, although they do have Brett Suter, who could throw a few innings today. Brought him up, long man down in that Brewers bullpen.
Now Suter starting to mill around, and I think they've told him to get throwing. 2 outs. Tony Wolters at the plate, and on the first pitch fouls it out of play. Wolters is having a hard time hanging on to the bat. He lost one yesterday into the stands. I'm guessing he hangs that bottom hand off the bottom of the knob.
Yeah. Let's go with the top hand, and now they're about $89 each. It's nothing to him.
Yes, indeed. Watch out. Balls and bats are flying. Brewers scored in the bottom of the second. The Rockies have answered with 4 here in the 3rd inning. And a couple of close calls defensively could have changed the entire complexion of this inning.
Yeah, that double play, that little jam shot that went in and out of the glove of VR would have been a double play ball.
And then that liner by Arenado just out of the reach of Shaw, got it in the glove momentarily.
You got to wonder if Brett Suter is getting ready. Well, maybe next inning. Jack Davies' spot is due up second in the bottom of the 3rd inning. He can give you a good 3 innings today.
One ball, 2 strikes on the Rockies catcher. Now you're getting into that dangerous area for an inning of pitches. 35 now for Davies. And that one misses. 2-2 the count. Down the left field line, foul. And Wolters is hanging in there. Pitch count continues to rise.
And Jet Bandy just trying to figure out something to get Davies through this inning, trying to find something he's going to be able to throw for a quality strike. We haven't seen this out of Davies in a long time. Maybe we talked about those first 3 starts he made last year, but command just not there today.
Try again with 2-2. And on the ground to VR, and that will end the inning. But a struggle defensively and on the mound, and the Rockies score 4.
Brewers Chief Operating Officer Rick Schlesinger. And Rick, it's great always to see you here on the home stands. A lot to get through, but on this opening week, the Cubs are coming to town this weekend. We know there's going to be big crowds, but tickets are still available for Brewers fans.
Yeah, we know Saturday's going to sell out. Sunday's going to be close to a sellout. Friday we have tickets available, but they're selling quickly, as you can imagine. We want to make sure we have a lot of Brewers in attendance, fans here in attendance this weekend, because we know the Cubs are coming and they bring their fans.
And when the team returns home from the road trip coming up on April 20th through the 24th, the Cardinals are in town, and a number of incentives for fans to come out for that division rival as well. 5
counties starts April 21, half-price tickets for people from the 5 counties. Beatles theme night on Saturday. And one of my favorites, Jonathan VR bobblehead with a stolen base counter And I put 131 because that's the all-time record for a single season in stolen bases. We can always hope.
Rick is dreaming big, guys. So VR 62 stolen bases for last year, and again the counter is on there, and Rick wants him to go for 131. Why not?
Why not? I tell you, Ricky Henderson, and you think about the stolen base numbers. Now, last year VR hit 19 homers to go along with those 62 stolen bases. You think about the power speed combos, Ricky Henderson and Tim Raines.
Yeah.
There's Arcia, and he sends one to left field. Long run for Parra, and he's got it for the out.
And when you talk about Ricky Henderson as leadoff hitter, I don't think there was a better leadoff hitter in the history of the game. When you talk about, you know, the speed that he had, I mean, on base percentage, he could hit with power. I mean, how many leadoff the game home runs did he hit? I mean, he was an impact guy. Amazing. And certainly you would hope that, you know, Jonathan VR, you know, can get those stolen bases once again. I think Rick Schlesinger would like to see number one at least. That would be a good starting point.
Now, Ricky had 130 steals in that 82 season. That's a famous season here in Milwaukee with Harvey's Wallbangers. By the way, they named the field in Oakland Ricky Henderson Field. Had a nice little painting on the back paint of the grass, Ricky Henderson Field, and be well honored. And Tim Raines, another guy into the Hall of Fame. Guys, you're going to see him in Toronto. The Brewers are headed to Toronto, and Tim Raines works for the Blue Jays in their organization, and he's going to throw out the first pitch for the Blue Jays home opener.
Yeah,
which will be Tuesday.
Looking forward to that.
Brewers at Blue Jays.
It's a 2-game series in Toronto.
That is going to be jumping there. I did the playoffs last year in Toronto with the Blue Jays and the Rangers, and that's about as loud as a stadium can get. And they have a very good team once again. Davies up there with one away.
That place opened what, in 89, 90, something like that? Rogers Center. It was called Sky Dome.
Yep.
I remember playing in there in the early days.
Packing 50,000 a night in there.
Right.
Davies flies one to center. Routine for Blackman, and there is out number 2. Now the Brewers will hit the road after an off day Monday. They go to Toronto for 2, Cincinnati for 3. I beg your pardon, for 4, and then to Wrigley Field, Chicago. 3-game series with the Cubs, and then back here April 20th against St. Louis.
Going to see some big-time offenses in this first month, right? Toronto, they can bang with the best of them. The Cubs a couple of series, and the Cardinals. To say nothing about these Colorado Rockies they can hit.
9-game road trip, first road trip of the year.
So a tester for this Brewers pitching staff right out of the gates.
And we're going to find out. 4-run inning for Colorado has him on top 4-1. We play in the bottom of the 3rd. 2 outs and VR at the plate.
VR shaking his head. He's talking to himself. He's missing some pitches that he feels he should be driving somewhere. And kind of off to a bit of a slow start first couple of days.
And a bouncer to LeMahieu, a former Gold Glover. 1-2-3 inning, a shutdown inning for Tyler Anderson. His club got him 4. He puts up a 0 in the next half. Park, the most functional ballpark in the world. Roof is closed on a cool night. Good crowd is filed in here tonight. The Brewers are down 4-1 to Colorado as we go to the 4th inning. And Zach Davies trying to get the train back on the track. Facing Tyler Anderson, the Rockies pitcher, to start it. 8 batters came to the plate in the 3rd. And the big hit was a Gerardo Parra 3 RBI double. Arenado had the other RBI after the Brewers started the scoring tonight with an Jesus Aguilar RBI single in the 2nd inning. And that one's into right center field. Broxton closing, can't make the play. In and out of his glove. He took up a huge divot out there.
He looked like he overran it. Kind of went a little bit too far with it. Ball hung up for him, and he closed ground very quickly. And grounds crew not going to be too happy about that. A 1-2 pitch, changeup. Check it out. I mean, it looked like he had it in his glove, just dropped it. You know, the Brewers defense has not been very good so far. In the glove, out of the glove. That is a major divot.
Wow. A trench. Just need a good caddy. Fill that up. Top of the order now. Here's Blackman. Chops a bunt down. Tough play. Davies goes to first and just in time to get Blackman.
He's tried that a couple of times in this series. I think 3 times. Bunting for base hits.
It's a good play by Zach Davies, pouncing off the mound.
It didn't panic. Set himself and made a nice throw to first.
He'll score that as a sacrifice, advancing the runner to second. Man, good play. Davies does all the little things well. He fields his position. He picks off runners, keeps runners close, has different variations on his delivery to do that. He thinks through the entirety of the game, not just the pitches that he is throwing.
Doesn't beat himself. Doesn't make mistakes. As a fielder, understands the importance of controlling the running game. Catchers love that.
Brewers are just on the wrong side tonight of a lot of difficult plays, but plays that could be made. This was a basketball game. You'd say they are losing on the 50-50 balls.
Yeah. You know, I've heard it said that this is a game of inches.
I've heard that a time or two.
An inch here or there, and maybe outs instead of hits.
Well, it applies. It's a cliche because it's true. It's good to bring back a lot of the cliches every now and then. Can of corn. Texas leaguer. When's the last time you used the phrase Texas leaguer?
I think it was spring training.
In your play-by-play debut?
And can of corn, I think.
Oh yeah, you went to all the old school stuff there.
Yeah,
huh?
I was panicking.
It was a little jam shot, and VR makes the play to get LeMahieu. I thought you did a great job.
No, I had a newfound, not that I didn't understand the importance and the difficulty of your job, but I kind of appreciate it even more now. It's a lot of work.
Well, you can do my job a lot better than I can do yours, because the thing that you've done, I'll never do. Play in the big leagues.
And the thing that you do, I hope to never do again.
Oh, now, come on now. I thought you did a great job.
It was fun.
Rock made his spring training debut as a play-by-play announcer.
Me and Augie had a good time. Yep.
I think Augie's ready for a little play-by-play next spring. Here's Gonzalez. Takes a ball down and away.
You know, the webcast that we do in spring training, I do some play-by-play with that. You know, doing the radio call I found to be easier than doing the play-by-play on television.
A lot more talking.
I never realized that.
Gonzalez pops this one high. Can of corn, Rock. Can of corn. Arcia puts it away. And a scoreless inning for Davies. He needed one of those. 4-1. Brewers coming up bottom. Well, between innings, after Keon Broxton dug up a trench, got to replace your divots. Thanks to our friends at Menards. I tell you, this grounds crew here, Michael Betcher is the captain of this ship. They are as good as it gets. This field looks fantastic. It's not easy to grow grass. That's a combination sand and grass. I guess the grass will grow back, huh?
Yeah.
So good work by the grounds crew.
Yeah, it's tough to grow grass and make it look this good given the weather that we had here in Milwaukee in the month of March. kind of testy weather, and they do a terrific job. They always do. The players rave about the playing surface. Looks great.
So Keon Broxton will lead off. He's got a lot of that divot still on his uniform pants. And Anderson misses high to start it. You expect to slide when you go into a play like that for Broxton, but it's like a javelin.
He kind of dug right in there with the knee.
Broxton pops it foul and out of play.
That's one that Broxton would like to have back right down the middle. And he's looking around wondering, how did I not hit that one into the gap somewhere?
I wonder if he's feeling a little bit of pressure this year. I think there's always pressure for big league players, but Broxton, after that great finish to the season last season, now trying to prove it was no fluke.
I think there's a number of Brewers on this active roster right now that kind of feel that. I think Jonathan VR might be feeling that. You know, Davies, Junior Guerra. I mean, these guys that have never really done it before, doing it last year, and now there's expectations, and that's a lot different to, you know, go through a season with people expecting you to do what you did last year. You're not sneaking up on people anymore.
No longer the underdog. Broxton began his professional career as a member of the Diamondbacks. Matter of fact, he and Chase Anderson were together in the Diamondbacks system, and then Broxton ended up in Pittsburgh. Couldn't break through at that talented outfield. Brewers made a trade, Jason Rogers for Broxton. And there's a called strike three. Broxton is down on strikes.
Right at the bottom of the strike zone. Hunter Wendelstadt's been calling that pitch.
Third strikeout for Anderson, and here comes Braun. Now Braun last year back to his home run hitting ways. Powerball home run count ended up at 30 for number 8.
Yeah, expectations never really bothered him too much, has it? I mean, expectations even from day one in the major leagues, and he just continues to put up the numbers. And again, I think one of his more impressive seasons, you know, last year.
Another 30-plus home run season for Ryan Braun, which was his 6th. And that is the most in franchise history. Some great names on that list. And last year, Braun surpassed Robin Yount for the all-time home run record in franchise history. 15 shy of 300 homers in his career.
And big, strong, powerful spike on that list. Big Gorman. Haven't seen Gorman around, have we?
I was just going to ask you about Big Spike.
Saw Jimmy today, Gantner.
I usually see Jim Gantner in uniform working with the infielders, hitting fungos before the games. He's here most home games. I always like seeing Gumby because he offers a daily critique of the night before, the game before.
Yeah.
Because he does all the work, early work with the team, and then he goes home and watches the game. And then he has a list for us.
And most of the critique is at our expense.
There's a strike to Braun. All in good fun.
Yeah, there is not a tougher human being that's ever played a game of baseball than Jim Gantner.
And Braun sends one to left. Way back. Goodbye. Into the soup at Fridays. Bernie hits the slide, and the Brewers get a home run from Ryan Braun, his first of the year.
Well, he's probably thinking, catch that one, Nolan Arenado. It was in his direction, but way over his head. Boy, what a blast for Ryan Braun.
Fitting that the first team home run of the season comes from Braun. That was a no-doubter. Right into the front row grill out there at Fridays. Santana with a big swing and a miss.
And not a lot of air under it either. He had a bullet, a line drive out of here.
Four to 2 now. Rockies lead by 2, and Santana takes a ball high. Now the Brewers were down 4-0 yesterday. Came back, scored 5 in the 5th. Took a lead. End up giving that lead up, and the Brewers lost the game 7-5 yesterday. Braun was hitless in 4 at-bats yesterday, but was robbed of a hit by Arenado to end the game yesterday. Was robbed earlier tonight by Arenado.
This is ordinarily what happens to mistakes when you throw them to Ryan Braun down the middle. Tried to come up and in on him, missed with it, and Ryan Braun. Let's see what he says. Arenado, catch that one.
Nice. That's a good catch by our crew right there. That's awesome. Mutual respect. Santana, 3-2 count, and it's low, and Santana draws the walk. He's been a patient hitter and draws a walk with 1 away. Will bring the tying run to the plate, and Steve Foster, the Rockies pitching coach, on his way to the mound.
Now, so far Anderson has done a pretty good job keeping the Brewers off balance. He's really throwing 3 different pitches. A lot of change-ups, the cut fastball. He made the mistake on the cutter to Braun, and then some 4-seamers that he's been able to reach 95 miles an hour. Just good location. Really hasn't had that long inning. Pretty decent efficiency with his pitches.
Well, so a visit to the mound, and now here is Shaw, who almost hit one out in the 2nd inning. Banged one off the base of the right field fence for a double. His 2nd double of the year. His 3rd double of the year, I beg your pardon. Had 2 yesterday, including an RBI double as part of that 5-run 5th.
Anderson not with the greatest move to first base. Unusual for a lefty. Something he worked on in spring training quite a bit. Yeah, trying to keep runners close to first. Not too many lefties have a problem with that.
And Shaw into left center. Parra can't get it. Goes into the gap and off the wall. Santana flying around the bags. On his way home. Throw to the plate. Not in time. Santana scores. And Travis Shaw is off to a blistering start at the plate.
Doubles machine. Another double for him. Boy, Santana really showing good speed around the bag. Ed Cedar sending him. There's that fastball out over the plate. So Shaw, lefty versus lefty, doesn't seem to be bothering him too much. Well, one hops the wall, and Parra, even with a good arm, not able to cut down Santana, who did a good job cutting third base.
4th double of the year already for Travis Shaw. 4 doubles in 6 at-bats on the young season. He's the tying run now at 2nd. Here is Aguilar, and he was trying to hit one out. Big swing by Jesus. Aguilar drove in the 1st run of the game with a single in the 2nd inning. Drove in Shaw. And the Brewers trying to fight their way back. Still just 1 out.
Yeah, the thing about Aguilar, we saw him in spring training, and he's got tremendous power to the opposite field. He doesn't have to pull the baseball. He knows it. He's got good power to right field.
He'll turn 27 in late June. And his first real chance in the big leagues. He's been up and down parts of 3 different seasons going back to 2014. But only 9 games last year for the Indians, the American League champions. Played in just 7 games in 2015 and only 19 games played in the big leagues in 2014. So he hasn't gotten much of an opportunity. When he has, he has struggled. But already 2 hits in the first 2 games and his first RBI as a Brewer.
Well, the important thing for Aguilar is to get consistent playing time. I mean, down in the minor leagues, he's playing every day, gets called up to the major leagues in the past and never really gets a lot of playing time. And a guy like that has to play a lot to be effective. And Brewers are going to give him that chance.
His playing time came in AAA. Mentioned the 30 homers and the 92 RBIs last year. That was in 137 games.
Yeah.
He hit .247. His career batting average in the minor leagues .271. And he waves and misses.
Change up off the plate.
4th strikeout for Tyler Anderson.
And just trying to see how far he's going to go off the plate, and he does. He waves at it. On a pitch about a foot outside.
Taking advantage of an anxious hitter. So 2 men are out. Here comes Jet Bandy now. Bounced into a double play his last time up. First at bat of the night. And Bandy breaks his bat. That is going to fall. Base hit. And now they're going to send the runner. And Shaw is a dead duck at home plate. That was a heck of a play by Story. And Shaw is an easy out to end the inning. And he's down. Took a hard tag. Well, Ryan Braun with a home run. First of the year for the Brewers. Braun goes deep. Bernie with a quick trip down the slide. And the Brewers are within a run.
Have some of the staples, but they were pretty excited.
All right, well, certainly there's a big project completed here at Miller Park, the largest upgrade since it was built here in 2001 in BA and Rock. This park definitely has a great new feel with all of these new food and beverage experiences and a lot for fans to try.
Sophia, maybe Ken can send something up for the effort,
because we don't talk about it until we get to test it.
That's a good point. It'll be. We will be involved in the silent treatment until we can personally attest.
That's right. We're not going to endorse until we taste.
I'm all in. Get to work, Ken. Here's Arenado to start it. The Brewers chipping away at that deficit, scoring twice in the 4th inning. Home run by Braun. Travis Shaw with an RBI double. And Arenado in the air, right center. Broxton is there. And there is out number 1. Now Davies settling in a little bit after a 4-run 3rd inning. Not all of that inning was his undoing. It was a couple of defensive plays that could have been made. Difficult plays, yes, but could have changed the complexion of the inning. I think the Brewers would like to start making some of those plays and helping out their pitchers.
Yeah. Well, did a pretty good job in spring training. I know we talk about spring training a lot, but this is game 2, and that's what our frame of reference has been up until this point. And Greg Counts was very pleased about the defense in spring. A little different here in the first couple of games.
I'm sure there are a lot of nerves. Very young roster, players that are trying to establish themselves in the big leagues. That's all part of it.
All part of the learning process, right?
Trevor Story with 1 out.
It's amazing what the 3rd deck does to guys. I mean, the lights and the crowds and the 3rd deck, 3-4 decks, and it's a completely different animal. Spring training and big league baseball, regular season.
Good changeup and a swing and a miss. 1-2 the count on Story. Well, Davies, remember, he was pitching in that third inning with bullpen activity. He was almost out of the game. And now he's trying to hang in there, get through 5 perhaps, maybe give himself a chance to win if the Brewers can come back. Story just throwing out Shaw at the plate. Made a nice play on a little flare. And I think he surprised Ed Cedar on that. He picked it on one hop, which was the best and most challenging part of that play.
Yeah, I think if that ball bounces one more time, you got to run in. I mean, but he did get it on that first hop. And you know, the Brewers have been very aggressive on the bases. They've been for a couple of years now. And
did not go.
wow.
Checked his swing. That fills the count 3-2.
Let's see if he goes. I could have gone either way. Andy Fletcher says nothing doing. He held up.
Here comes a payoff. And he does not bite. And Davies issues the walk. And a man on with one away. Well, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Learn more about how you can get involved as a volunteer or participant at the upcoming Girls on the Run 5K. That'll be in your area soon. Check foxsportsupports.com. Great program. Here's Gerardo Parra now with one out. Parra dealt a big blow in that 4-run third inning. He drove in 3 with a double. Tried to stretch it into a triple, was thrown out.
Yeah, that was 2 strikes. A 2-2 pitch that Davies missed with a fastball down the middle.
In there, strike 1. Parra will get time in left field and first base this season, especially when David Dahl comes back. Does an offer at it, and it's 1-1.
He just hasn't been able to throw that curveball over the plate. He's been down in the zone, which is good. If you're going to miss, you want to miss down in the zone with your off-speed stuff. But that curveball has eluded him tonight. Has not been much of a factor.
And he wants a changeup. Davies agrees. Here it comes. And Parra's way out in front. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Gerardo Parra. This Rockies lineup is tough to get through. This team can score some runs. Led the National League in runs scored last year. They averaged 5.2 runs per game last season. Averaged 5.2. Only Boston scored more in the big leagues last year. In the National League, the Rockies led in runs, hits, doubles, batting average, and OPS.
It's kind of a normal year for the Rockies, isn't it?
Yes, they play at Coors Field, but they've got a lot of talent in their lineup.
They have a lot of good offensive players. I mean, if you're a good offensive player, Coors Field not a bad option for you. A little different for pitchers.
1-2 pitch. Evens at 2-2.
It's got to be nearly impossible for the Rockies to get your high-priced free agent pitchers in there. That's a tough place to pitch.
So instead, Jeff Bridich, the general manager, a Milwaukee native, has decided to go with the player development side of things with the starters. Very young starting rotation, and then spend the money on the bullpen. Greg Holland and Mike Dunn specifically. Runner goes. Bouncing ball. Arcia redirects, knocks it down, and safe at first. Well, sending the runner keeps Colorado out of a double play, and that'll be an infield hit for Parra.
Just an inch here or there, right? I mean, that's kind of the way this game is going defensively for Milwaukee. That was a very difficult play for Arcia. He was moving pretty hard over to the bag to cover up the stolen base. Had to redirect and just able to knock it down.
And that's going to do it for Davies. Double switch coming. Counsel goes to the home plate umpire, Hunter Wendelstedt, and here comes Jan Marinez. So Davies unable to get through 5. He will exit 4 1/3 and on the hook for the loss. Brewers are down 4-3. We'll take a break now, and still runners that belong to Davies on base, 2 of them as a matter of fact. Double switch for the Brewers. Travis Shaw moves from third to first base. Aguilar is out, and Hernan Perez making his season debut. He comes in to play third. So put the pitcher in Aguilar's spot. Perez will hit in the 9 spot, which will be due up third. And there is Jan Marinez on for the 2nd consecutive day.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit yesterday. Only a third of an inning, gave up 3 hits. His numbers last year outstanding for Marinez. Picked him up in May from the Tampa Bay Rays. Good earned run average at 316. Needs a ground ball to get out of this mess. There's 1 out, couple of men on.
And the batter is Mark Reynolds. On the ground to third. Perez. That is a fair ball just under the glove of Hernan. And a run is coming in on his way to second. Reynolds, close play, safe. 5-3 Rockies, and another one just out of the reach of a Brewer defender.
Yeah, just a little bit here and there. This is a much different game. Well, that's the way it goes. Two-seam fastball, and you can see him getting on the side of these two-seamers. He's not getting a whole lot of depth, which means they're not going down a whole lot. Just a little bit off the glove, right down the line, and you can see right here, pretty close at second base. It looks like he beat it.
Bang, bang, but the foot was in, and no challenge. So it's 5-3. Rockies up 2, their 10th hit of the game. And that run will belong to Davies. Now 5 earned runs allowed for Zach.
Yeah, and the new rule, Craig Counsell puts up 4 fingers and don't bother with the pitches. And he takes first base.
To bring the pitcher up with 1 away. A time-saving rule put in place. There were many that the commissioner submitted to the Players Association, and there will be a number put in place next year, but that was one of the few that was actually accepted by the Players Association, the intentional pass without the pitches needing to be thrown. Baseball does have in the contract the ability to implement the rules without approval from the Players Association beginning in 2018. So we're going to see a slew of changes next year.
Can't wait to see those. If they're anything like this one, I don't know about that.
Bases loaded again. 3rd time in this game that Colorado has loaded them up.
Now, can you incorporate a rule like the one we just saw, the 4 pitch, and then do away with it and go back to where it was? I don't see that happening.
No,
I don't see.
I mean, you can do it, but I don't.
They wouldn't.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that. Saved a minute. And down he goes. So Anderson strikes out. Some of the new rules implemented, the no pitch intentional walk. And I think one of the bigger ones is the 30-second guideline for the manager and the replay group for a team.
There's a good one here. I like the 2 minute, the time limit.
Well, the key word in there is guideline, because I think it's going to be changed. The verbiage is going to be changed next year to two-minute limit. It's just a suggestion now.
Oh, I got you.
The umpires are going to try to abide by that, but I think you were onto that early. As soon as replay came into vogue, you talked about
90 seconds.
Yeah, maybe a 90-second rule, and it's close to happening. Big spot in the ball game right here. Charlie Blackmon is at the plate. He's up there with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Brewers trying to keep within 2. Marinez with that power sinker. Jan took the loss yesterday, giving up 2 runs, 1 earned in a third of an inning. Walked a batter. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And a chopper foul. 1-2 the count.
And a couple of good sinkers from Marinez. That's what he needed. Kind of flat. The 2-seam fastballs have been flat. You know, first few hitters he's faced this year, and did a good job getting on top of that last one and having Blackmon beat it into the ground.
Blackmon last year was the Silver Slugger Award winner, given to the player with the best year offensively at a particular position, and Blackmon, a talented center fielder, voted as the best hitting center fielder in the National League last year. And he slaps one through for a base hit. And another run is in. A second run trying. Good throw from Braun and out at the plate. Reynolds is cut down on a perfect peg from Ryan Braun. The Rockies score twice, and they now lead 6-3. It could have been worse without this throw from Braun. That was a beauty, right on the mark. And Reynolds is out. Pretty good at it. I think we've actually going to get a delivery here.
Yeah, I can smell it. It has been up here for a
Zafiros has
while.
arrived.
Yeah, nicely done.
Thanks, Ken.
Well done. Did you hear us talking about that? Yeah. I mean,
The power of television.
All you got to do is ask.
All we got to do is beg. Take over the play-by-play with you.
Now, I have had Zafiros Pizza in the past. I got a place downtown. Outstanding.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's
Matter
really
of fact,
good.
you know, all the restaurants that have been put here at Miller Park, I've tried. Matter of fact, Smoke Shack was at your house the other day.
Oh, yeah. Big catered event. This is awesome.
Did you get a deal on the barbecue?
I don't think so. I better now, though.
I mean, you're the king of the deals, aren't you?
Well, actually, I learned from the best. As Arcia takes a strike.
Never pay retail.
If it's free, it's for me. Give me 3.
This is good pizza.
Really good pizza.
Thin crust. Yeah.
You're sweating looking at that pizza.
I'm sweating because I can't believe I haven't had any.
As a strikeout, Arcia is gone.
Yep, the food here at Miller Park is outstanding, and did a lot of work on it. Brought some vendors in. Our executive chef here, Seth Vanderland, has done a tremendous job over the last couple of years, and he has fed us well, and all of Miller Park.
Well, thanks to Ken Gaber, the general manager of Sports Service, for hooking us up. If only the game wasn't in the way. First at bat of the night for Hernan Perez. Perez had a pinch hit appearance yesterday, and his first playing time defensively, coming in on the double switch. What a year he had last year. Hit .272, 13 homers, had a 20+ stolen base season. Came out of nowhere. He's another guy that has a lot to prove, but he looks like a terrific utility man, and he's been actually upgraded to a super utility man, meaning he can play the outfield along with the infield. A shortstop by trade coming up in the Tigers organization.
It's amazing the progress that he's made. He's turned himself into one of the better hitters on this club. Good contact hitter. And Anderson is just throwing him 2 pretty good changeups.
And a strikeout. Anderson with back-to-back Ks to start this 5th inning.
Hey, the first Kids Eat Free Sunday of the season is coming up this Sunday against the Cubs. At all Sunday home games this year, kids 14 and under get a free lunch voucher. Good for a hot dog, applesauce, bottled water, and an ice cream treat, courtesy of Pick and Save and Blue Bunny. Good deal. See the Cubs and the Brewers.
Here's VR, top of the order now for the Brewers. 2 outs in the inning, and VR rolls 1 foul. Rock's just in here staring at this pizza. Go ahead, partner, knock it out.
I'm staring at your monitor.
There's a strike. 0-2 the count.
Does smell good though, doesn't it?
Oh, man.
So everybody gets a whole pizza when you go down there and order it?
I don't know. I mean,
or is it just a whole one for you?
I'm not sure. It's a good deal, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The changes they made, though, are spectacular. It's hard to believe, you know, when they talked about changing the concessions part of the ballpark, I'm like, all right, that's cool, but it doesn't really affect what we do.
Right, it's major, though.
But it is. You walk through there, it's just a great vibe, and even the structure of it, the architecture, the art of it, it's just really cool. It's a giant concourse anyway, so it gives you a lot of room to hang out and
wait in line over there and still see the game. Good sight lines. A couple of brew pubs and good place to hang out, Miller Park.
And I love the idea of diving into the local fair as well. And as Sophia mentioned, Brewers trying to get something going here with 2 outs. VR strikes out. Anderson strikes out the side, and it remains 6-3 as we go to the
players, as well as tickets and the opportunity to throw out a ceremonial first pitch. The contest runs through April 21st, and for more details, you can visit brewers.com/beyondthediamond. BA and Rock, I think maybe more treats up in the booth.
Man, I'm telling you, they are now sending it all up. AJ Bombers and Smoke Shack and.
Did you see this burger?
That's the AJ Bombers.
Well, that's the Milwaukee burger. It's got Newski's bacon on. Have you had Newski's bacon?
I can't say that I have.
I mean, it is out of this world. Yeah, it's a whole different taste sensation.
It's really changed the complexion of the evening for us.
Yeah. Caramelized onions, cheese, burger, and Newski's bacon. I mean, what is not to like?
It's almost as if you're reading that off a promo card, but
now
he's
we
not.
need all we need is Miller Coors up here.
And then we would have some fun. 6th inning, Brewers down 6-3 to Colorado, but our night has been made.
I'll tell you who's salivating over here, the guy to your left.
Yeah, stats man to the stars, Mike Faulkner.
He's going to test out that Milwaukee burger. I know he is.
Yeah, that's got no chance. 1-2 the count. Mariñez with a slider and able to check his swing is LeMahieu. Well, it's day 2 and we're already into the fair at Miller Park. And I'm glad we finally got to sample some of this action.
There's a few more that we haven't really tried yet. The tacos, and what else do they have? Brats.
And that's going to be caught by Arcia. Waited patiently, timed his jump perfectly, and out number 1 as LeMahieu is retired. Little soft liner to short.
Well, maybe the worm has turned just a little bit. You know, Rockies have had some luck just out of the reach of Brewers from time to time tonight, but that one, good catch by Arcia.
One gone. Here comes Gonzalez.
You know, we have a birthday greeting to shout out here. You know, Mike Vasallo, our media relations director, his wife Gina, it's her birthday today.
She's the best Vasallo.
Now he told me how old she is here, and I don't think I
that's not
really feel like I should do that.
No, that's that's a bogey.
So happy birthday, Gina. They've got the little one back at home, you know, Jackson. So Mike came in just now and said, "You better say happy birthday because Gina's going to bed soon."
I see. I see. It is getting that time for a mother of a newborn, which basically makes her a mother of 2,
right?
With Mike,
right?
I noticed as soon as the food arrived here, Vasallo came to the booth, though. He's not afraid. 3-0 on Gonzalez. Arenado due next. That one's in there. Gonzalez with a double, his first time up, a hustle double, little flare into left field. And 1 for 3 tonight. Did have a line out. And he takes ball 4. Hard to keep this offense down, and the Rockies have another man on.
Well, that brings us to tonight's timer of the game winner, Dean and Sue's Bar from Menominee, if they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Dean and Sue's get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Nolan Arenado. As much as he loves to hit at Coors Field, Miller Park is on his list as well. A .424 hitter at Miller Park, which includes 5 home runs, 7 doubles, and 17 RBIs in just 66 at-bats.
Now, 3 of those home runs came 2 years ago in the opening series, right? Had 3 homers in 3 games.
He has now hit safely in all 8 games he has played at Miller Park. If you rip off the top 3 or 4 players in the game, I don't think most fans would, outside of Colorado, would put Arenado on that list just off the top of your head, but he is. He is one of the elites in the game.
A lot of good hitters in the game. There's a lot of good defenders, but he's both. When you put together the consider the total package, there's not many better.
Look at Mike Trout, Carlos Correa, the Astros, think certainly Bryce Harper is on that list. Two and one. Arenado swings and fouls one back. Had a big swing.
Yeah, that one right in the wheelhouse for Arenado. Just missed it. Right, fouled it straight back. Right on it, but underneath.
Mourinho is looking for a double play ball. Brewers could use a quiet inning. Rockies have had traffic in every inning tonight. And Arenado gets under one. High fly ball. Hooking. On the run, Braun. Arcia's there, and Braun makes a backhanded catch. Nice play. Ryan having to deal with that rolled up tarp. Makes the catch. Stops on a dime. And the second out of the inning.
Well, he had in the corner of his eye Arcia coming at him as well. So really nice catch by Ryan. And a long way to go playing deep with Arenado at the plate. You see, look how far he goes, and right up against the tarp. And avoiding Arcia makes the catch. Well done. Look how far Arcia went out to get that baseball.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's amazing. That guy's got some range.
Nice play by Braun. Back in left field, second year back in left after a few years in right. And he's very comfortable on the left side of the field, more so than the right side. He doesn't mind left field, but he came up as a shortstop and a third baseman in college. Played third base in the big leagues with the Brewers his rookie year. And it's an interesting discussion with him. He says, you know, the left side of the field for him just feels natural, the way the ball hooks, the way it comes off the bat. He felt like right field was completely foreign.
It seems like, you know, watching Braun in the outfield all these years, it seems like he goes to his right a lot better. Looks like he's more comfortable going to his right than his left. I mean, he's more comfortable going to the line in left field as opposed to the gap.
Story had his knees buckled, and he takes strike two. 0-2 the count. Brewers are down 3. A 4-run third inning for the Rockies. They added 2 last inning after the Brewers had gotten within 1. 7-5 loss yesterday on opening day for the Crew. High fly ball to right. A roof scraper. Santana's under it. And Mourinho comes back with a good inning. Scoreless 6. Ryan Braun, first and only home run of the season for the Brewers. He's due up second. We're headed for the bottom of the 6th. Brewer, and that change of his hitting style turned into a great finish last year for him. And Broxton ready to lead off. Keon hitting second tonight. Braun to follow. So you got Broxton, Braun, and then Santana. The Brewers are down 3. Tyler Anderson, the starter, is back on the mound after striking out the side last inning.
He's really only had the one bad inning. That was the 4th. Been pretty efficient with his pitches, sitting at 75 pitches right now. Twice as many strikes as balls so far tonight. Pretty good. That changeup's been nasty today.
That has been his go-to pitch. A 24 pitch 4th inning. That was the 2-run inning for the Brewers. Other than that, very efficient. First round draft pick Anderson out of Oregon. He's a Duck. Rockies go back-to-back first round draft picks on the mound. Yesterday, John Gray. Well, you can see why they're so excited about their young pitching.
Yeah,
they've got some talent.
I know it's kind of pitching we've seen. I mean, with John Gray with the big fastball and the slider, and today you got, you know, the changeup specialist. I mean, that will work at Coors Field. I mean, you know, pitchers that, you know, rely on the big curveballs and things like that. You know, the off-speed stuff like that does not really work all that well in Colorado with the high altitude. So they've gone more with the power arms, or as of late, sinker sliders.
And another strikeout. That is number 8, and that is the 5th consecutive out as a strikeout for Anderson. And with one away, here comes Braun. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game, first of the year. Ryan Braun, who hit 30 last year. First home run for the Brewers this season.
Yeah, cutter that stayed out over the plate, and that's normally what happens to mistake pitches with Ryan at the plate. You don't get him back.
And Braun lines one to left, a base hit. Well, he's starting to square him up now. Braun's hit the ball hard all 3 times at the plate tonight. Was robbed of a hit by Arenado in the first. And now 2 for 3. And there's a base runner.
And going back to yesterday, 4 consecutive at-bats hitting the ball hard. That one over the head of Story. Top spin on it and a rocket into left.
What a hitter. So a man on for Domingo Santana. Now the 5th inning was a big inning for the Brewers yesterday. Maybe the 6th will be a big inning tonight. There is activity in the Rockies bullpen. Santana walked and scored in the 4th. A strikeout victim his first time up. Was on twice yesterday, was hit by a pitch and walked. 0 for 2 at the plate. Looking for his first hit of the season. Santana right center. That's going to get down. And it's going to go to the wall. Let's see if Braun can score. He's going to be held at third. And Santana's in with a double. Back-to-back hits. The Brewers in business now in the 6th inning.
Well, that was a nice piece of hitting by Santana. Pitch down and in. And he pulled the hands in and just shot it out there in the right center on a changeup. Well, that's a pitch that a lot of guys are going to try and pull, but watch the way he pulls the hands in, lets the ball travel. A nice easy swing out into the gap, and down by 3, Ed Cedar playing it safe. Well, with 1 out, you know, 2nd and 3rd, you don't want to make any outs at home plate.
First hit of the season for Domingo Santana. And now Travis Shaw, who's had the best start to the year at this point, at the plate presented by Wendy's. 2 hits, both doubles. Has 4 doubles already in his first 6 at-bats of the season. Third at-bat against Anderson. Figures to be Anderson's last hitter if he does not retire Shaw. But Black has another lefty in the bullpen ready to go. Misses low. 2-0.
Yep, and a right-hander starting to get loose. Lefty righty.
Carlos Estevez is the right-hander. The lefty is Jake McGee. Estevez just started throwing. Brett Council's put Manny Pena on deck. Remember, the pitcher spot is due up next after the double switch. There's a strike. And now Anderson wants to chat.
Yeah, big point in the ball game right here. Brewers have a golden opportunity to get right back in it. Want to make sure it's going to be the cutter, it's going to be the changeup. He will throw changeup to lefties.
Well, Shaw today, first one he almost hit out, hit the base of the wall in right field, and then in the 4th inning he ripped one into the gap in left center.
Yeah, one was a cutter, one was a four-seamer. That would look good right now for this Brewers offense.
And Shaw slaps one foul a little bit late. Came back to the fastball. Manny Pena looks like he's going to hit next. 2nd and 3rd. Good speed on the bags. Braun and Santana. And Shaw fouls one away.
Stays right on it against lefties. Doesn't pull off.
Good battle here between Anderson and Shaw. Pitch count now at 90. '27-year-old lefty. See what he has in mind here. 2-2 in the air, left field, foul again.
Love the approach, don't you? I mean, he's not pulling anything foul. Everything to the opposite field, meaning he's staying on the baseball.
Nice play up there. Got a souvenir. You see the velocity range. He's hit 96 against Shaw. Here comes a 2-2 again, and that one's down in the dirt. Good block by Walters. Travis said he went from a toe tap to a leg lift at the AA level, and that changed everything for him. And lifting that left leg, he feels, keeps him in balance and has given him a lot of power as well.
Yeah, balance on that back leg, not jumping at the baseball.
He's trying to get into one right now. A long ball ties it. Brewers are down 3, 1 away, 3-2 pitch, and he is hanging in there. What an at bat this is. Travis came to the Brewers from the Red Sox. That was the deal that involved Tyler Thornburg. Mauricio Dubon, a young shortstop who will start at the AA level, who we saw this spring, came in that deal as well. 10th pitch of the at bat on the way. And Shaw rolls one to first. Coming home is Braun. The out at first, but Shaw picks up the RBI.
Yeah, good at bat. Real good at bat. Put it in play. Wasn't trying to do a whole lot. Just put it in play and driving a run with the infield back.
So Shaw with his 2nd RBI of the game. And the Brewers are now within 2, 6-4. Bud Black on his way to the mound, and he'll make a pitching change, I think. Maybe not.
Well, normally, you know, managers that run out aren't interested in making a pitching change. They kind of take their time, but we'll see. Got some right-handers coming up.
Brewers are going to use their 2nd catcher, Manny Pena, in this spot, who will hit for the pitcher.
Bud Black relieves him in, showing a lot of confidence in this left-hander. Nothing but right-handers due up.
And Anderson will stay. So Bud Black wanted to just talk through it, not sending his pitching coach out there. A former pitcher himself and a former pitching coach, Bud Black. And now Manny Pena will step in with a chance.
And Pena had a terrific spring.
First appearance this season for Pena, and he takes a strike. Pena hit .396 this spring. 4 home runs. He caught a lot. The only position player not to play yesterday, Pena. First opening day roster. And he lines one fair down the left field line. In to score Santana. Pena will be held to a single. And it's an RBI in his first at-bat of the year. And Manny Pena stays hot from spring training.
Yeah, no kidding. He and Aguilar. Both of these guys hit their way onto the team. After a first pitch changeup, Anderson gives him the fastball. And look at Pena, turns on it, keeps it fair, and the Brewers able to put up a couple of runs. Down by 1.
And that will force a pitching change as Pena, what a way to get a season started. Figures to be behind the plate tomorrow with Willie Peralta on the mound. Hitting that side wall, that angled wall, cost him a double. But the Brewers are within a run, the tying run at first, and Tyler Anderson is out in the 6th. Pena in a pinch hit appearance, and now it forces Bud Black to make a pitching change. And he'll go lefty for lefty as Jake McGee is on the pitch.
And McGee had some terrific seasons with the Tampa Bay Rays. First year last year with the Rockies. He had 2-3 record. He had 25 or 15 saves under his belt. I should say Carlos Estevez, my mistake. Estevez appeared in yesterday's game.
Well, it is McGee.
I was right the first time.
You were on it. You were on it. Estevez was warming up.
Thought I was seeing
with
things
McGee
there for a second.
So Jet Bandy will bat. Bandy up there in a big spot. You're getting a look at the 2 Brewer catchers. There are the numbers on Jake McGee.
There you go. 15 for 19 in save opportunities. After a number of good years with Tampa Bay. One of 2 left-handers down in that Colorado bullpen.
He's been a closer. They have a number of late inning relievers who have experience as closers. McGee with that big fastball, and that's usually all you'll see from McGee. Tough to handle. I remember covering McGee in the playoffs against Boston a few years back, and he came in just raring back, throwing nothing but fastballs. As Bandy gets jammed, a pop-up behind the plate that'll end up in the seats.
That's the way the game is these days. You know, most teams right now with 8 relievers, you come in there and you just throw as hard as you can for an inning, and that's basically all you're going to get out of them. Much different game these days. Relievers were expected to go, you know, 1, 2+ innings back in the old days. 5 relievers. Not anymore.
Rockies had the worst bullpen in the National League last year, and they remade their pen. Had Greg Holland closing games. Another hard-throwing lefty, Mike Dunn. Bandy hanging in there. That one at 96 miles an hour. Jet is 1 for 2 here tonight. He had a little flare single in the 4th inning, and on that play, Shaw was thrown out at the plate. It was a good play by Trevor Story, the shortstop, who went over and picked it on a hop and then threw out the runner. And that ball's hit hard, and it's through, a base hit. Pena's going to turn. He's on his way. And the throw comes to second base. And the two Brewer catchers delivering here in the 6th inning. Back-to-back hits by Pena and Bandy.
Bandy's off to a good start at the plate. Able to get a fastball down and rip it out there into the gap in left center. Not a whole lot of mystery as to what McGee's going to do to you. So you can dial it up and get the bat head out on that fastball. That's what he does. And Pena with pretty good wheels. Able to get into third base.
Jed Bandy with a base hit, his 3rd of the season, 1 for 4 yesterday. And Bud Black's going back to his pen. 1st and 3rd. 2 outs. The Brewers knocking at the door. Estevez coming in. We'll take a timeout.
24, but got to take that with a grain of salt. Pitching at Coors Field. He got 11 saves on the year. His 2nd consecutive appearance. He appeared in yesterday's game.
Orlando Arcia will bat. Tying run at third base for the Brewers. Estevez got the win, an inning with a strikeout, facing just 3 batters yesterday. Arcia fouls it away.
Another hard throw, that one at 98 miles an hour.
The runs belong to the starter Anderson. Pena over at third base, still his responsibility. Arcia with 1 hit thus far. Had a single in his first at bat of the season yesterday. 1st and 3rd. Whoa, look out. 97 with a fastball right around the letters. 2-1 the count. Estevez was the closer last year for a time with the Rockies, and at one point closed out 7 consecutive games for him. But his role has been bumped into the earlier innings now with the additions of Dunn and Holland. And Arcia pops it foul. Bandy was on the move at first base.
And Arcia was in swing mode right there. That was about neck high, but he was able to get a piece of it. Bandy not fleet of foot by any stretch. You don't have great speed on the bases.
Two and 2 the count. Do the Brewers have some more magic in them here in the 6th? Arcia spoils it foul. And Walters is on his way out.
And trying to figure out why Estevez isn't keeping an eye on Bandy, who had a walking lead. He took off on the pitch. Does not have a very good sense for holding base runners. That's something they've been working with him on.
Easy to revert back to old habits when you're in a spot like this.
Yeah, crunch time, right?
Arcia knows he's got to dial it up for that big fastball from Estevez. Big spot. 2 and 2 the count. Oh, and somehow Arcia fouls that one off. That came in at 98. Yikes. And it wasn't a strike.
It was up. That gave him a chance. Up and away. Well, not so much up, was it? Off the plate, though.
Bandy will be off with the crack of the bat. Arcia, if he can get one in a gap or down a line, the Brewers could take the lead. 2-2, and that one's fouled away. Yeah, we have seen a couple of terrific at-bats here in the last few hitters.
And the only thing we've seen from the Rockies has been fastballs. Done now at Esteves.
3 at 98 miles an hour. Arcia hoping for a mistake, and he got him. Struck him out. Got him with a little cutter, and Arcia is down.
And he just joined the Brewers today, taking the spot of Junior Guerra, placed on the disabled list with a sprained right calf. And talked to Brent. He made it here to Milwaukee from Colorado Springs right around 2 o'clock this afternoon. But to talk to him, he was among the final cuts at spring training. Very disappointed at that time. Told me that he had pitched 4 innings on the minor league side in Phoenix. That was the last time he pitched in a game. Had been waiting in Colorado, where they're set to begin their season later this week. I asked him if he was excited to be back, especially so soon. He said, "Is the Pope Catholic?" So guys, I'm going to interpret that as a yes. Told me he was ready to go and available obviously tonight. Said he was excited to have this opportunity.
Well, and exactly. I mean, Suter had a good spring. I mean, he was given strong consideration. He had 8 games, gave up 4 runs in 9 innings, and had a really good run last year with the Brewers out of the bullpen. Didn't allow a run in 12 appearances for the Brewers out of the pen. Manny Pena takes over behind home plate.
Pena with that big hit, the pinch hit appearance, and Suter deals strike 1 to Gerardo Parra. Good to see Brent on the mound in the big leagues. Saw a lot of them this spring. Tell you, if Rob Manfred really wants to speed up the game, I mean, he just start hiring pitchers like Brent Suter.
Yeah.
He works extremely fast. He is Mark Burley fast on the mound.
Yeah, don't blink, you'll miss 2 pitches.
And that's all part of the arsenal. He does not have the overpowering stuff, but he uses that quick release and quick delivery to try to speed up the mind of the hitter. You see hitters often step out on Suter.
Yep, call time, give themselves an opportunity to get set in the box, because Suter's ready to go. I mean, and if you're catching Brent, you've got to be ready to throw the sign down right away, because he wants to get it and go. Doesn't shake off a whole lot.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Parra at the plate, on the ground, and threw a base hit. Man, what a start to the year he's having.
Yeah, 3 hits today.
And yesterday, Parra with 2 hits, including an RBI single.
There's that fastball. It's in on Gerardo Parra, and he able to find the hole in the right field. Yeah, good balance on the swing. Not a whole lot of power in that swing, but able to muscle it into right field.
That is Colorado's 12th hit of the game. Now Mark Reynolds, 2 hits and a walk today. The former Brewers are doing some damage in this series. Reynolds has 4 hits already in this series with 2 walks. He's actually reached base every time he has batted in this series. Did reach on a fielder's choice yesterday as well, around the 2 hits and a walk.
Yeah, hitting 800, not a bad start.
7 plate appearances, 4 hits, 2 walks. And Reynolds takes a strike. Reynolds had the big blow yesterday, hit a 2-run home run early. 2nd inning for Colorado in his first at bat of the season. Shift is on for Reynolds. 3 infielders on the left side, playing him to pull.
Figuring that Reynolds a pull hitter, he's not going to really get jammed too much. I mean, you're talking about Suter 86 about max with the fastball. There's 87. That's about all you're going to get.
No balls, 2 strikes on Reynolds. And he got him. Suter strikes him out. Went with a high heat rock.
Right on the corner.
At 87 miles an hour.
Yep, reaching back and giving him everything he's got. Just good location right here. Right on that outside corner. Reynolds swings right through. Actually behind it, right? That's a nice pitch.
1 away. Runner still at first. Tony Wolters now the Rockies catcher. Only 24 years of age, Wolters. And he hits one back to Suter, fires to second, out there, Arcia, double play. And Suter back in the big leagues, puts up a 0 for the Brewers in the 7th. Stretch time at Miller Park. Brewers down a run, they're coming up. .30, VR 19, and then Neuenhuis Perez 13 apiece. And it'll be Hernan Perez to lead off. New pitcher on the mound, Adam Ottavino.
Yeah, great numbers for Ottavino. 34 appearances, 267 earned run average. Appeared in yesterday's ball game. Nasty stuff. Throws from the side. Big fastball slider.
And Perez in the right center field, going to be run down by Gonzalez. Hit it like a bullet. But the Rockies right fielder had him shaded in the gap. 1 pitch and 1 out for Ottavino. Tough break for Perez. Top of the order now. Here comes VR. Yesterday, the Rockies bullpen did not allow a run. Technically, tonight they have not allowed a run, although it was McGee who gave up a base hit to Bandy.
Yeah, Rockies used 5 relievers in yesterday's ball game. All hard throwers.
All 5 runs on the board for the Brewers belonging to the Rockies starter Tyler Anderson. VR takes inside. Anderson, McGee, Estevez. 2 pitching changes last inning for Black, and now Ottavino starts the 7th. And then he's got Dunn for the 8th, and then Holland for the 9th if the score hangs as it is. Ottavino put a couple of runners on base yesterday as VR hits it sharply, but right at Story. Out number 2. 2 hard hit balls, but nothing to show for it for the Crew.
Hey, MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Visit MLB.TV for details.
2 quick outs for Ottavino on just 5 pitches, and here is Keon Broxton with Braun due next. Broxton 0 for 3 tonight. 0 for 3 last night with a walk. Also had a stolen base last night. Broxton walked against Ottavino yesterday. Back-to-back walks to start the inning, Santana and Broxton, and then he struck out the next 3 hitters.
Man, that's a nasty slider right there. That's tough on a right-handed hitter. Tough to stay on that pitch when he's throwing from the side like that.
Three and 0 to Keon. There's a strike. Has to be tempting to swing 3 and 0 with a guy with this kind of stuff, but
Right.
with Braun due up next.
Good way to break him out of it, though.
3 and 1. And he tried a breaking ball and he misses. So Broxton with 2 walks in as many days against Ottavino, and that sets the stage for Ryan Braun as the go-ahead run.
See, I don't really get that. I mean, we saw that yesterday with RC at the plate and Gray up in that 5-run inning. They threw a 3-1 slider, walked him. This is a 3-0 slider here with Ottavino. And now you bring up Ryan Braun representing the go-ahead run. I just don't get that call. But the Brewers will take it.
Braun's having a good night. Could easily be 3 for 3. Robbed of a base hit by Arenado in the first. He homered in the 4th. And a single and a run scored in the 6th inning. Brewers down 1 with 2 outs. Broxton is a stolen base threat, especially against Ottavino, who takes a little bit to unwind and deliver. Keon was only caught 4 times all season last season. Stole 23 bases. A great hitter against a pitcher with great stuff. These are the matchups you love in the big leagues. Missed with a fastball.
And if you're Keon Broxton, you better be able to get to second base relatively easily if you're going to try and steal with Braun at the plate. And I would imagine that's exactly what he's being told right now.
Well, Braun robbed of a base hit by Arenado. That came early in this game in the 1st inning. That's how the inning ended. Braun said not again, and then he launched one out into the grill there at Fridays. Said no, you're not going to get that one. And then his 3rd at bat, he ripped one to left field and says you can't get that one either. Hit him where Arenado ain't.
Right.
Was the idea. That was after his last at bat. There's a lot of respect between those two. Arenado is deep and covering the bag. Covering the line, I should say, at 3rd. And Braun a tick late. Pops it foul and out of play.
Broxton's got a big lead over there at first base. I keep watching him, and looks like he's itching to take off, but you better make it with 2 outs. You're always in scoring position when Ryan Braun's at the plate.
One ball, one strike on Braun. And another check and a close play. Broxton was leaning. Just does get back.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind if you're Keon Broxton, that outfield for the Rockies very deep, so it's going to be very difficult to score on even a gapper given how deep they are. They don't have far to go to get to the wall.
Braun got jammed a little, and a soft liner is caught by LeMahieu to end the inning. 6-5. Brewers down a run. We go to the 8th at Miller Park.
Starting rotation, tough year last year, but certainly turned things around after he got called back up after a demotion.
Well, after a quick inning for Suter, back out there and deals a strike to the pinch hitter Cardullo. Power bat off that Colorado bench. Now looking ahead to the Brewers' 8th inning. Santana, Shaw, and then Pena. And it looks like Mike Dunn in the Rockies bullpen. Full count now to Cardullo. Zach Davies started, gave up 6 earned runs in 4 1/3. Marinez goes an inning and 2/3 tonight. And now Suter trying to go a couple of innings as Cardullo hits the deck.
I mean, that ball, I would have hit him in the foot if he didn't, he didn't hit the baseball. Check this out, this slider.
Yeah, that had back knee all over it.
Yeah, look at him. He goes down, but he hooks it foul. That was a Rob Deere swing right there.
The Rooster. Hit that one twice.
Yeah, he, you know, Rooster used to hit at Old County Stadium. He used to hit him over the roof between home plate and third base all the time.
Adrian Beltre is now the most famous one-knee home run hitter. Goes to a knee all the time. And a good take and ball 4. So Suter lost him. Just when you think Cardullo is swinging at everything, he draws the walk and a lead man on for Colorado. Every inning tonight, the Rockies have had at least one man on base. It is always a grind against this team. This is one of the best lineups in baseball.
Yeah. Well, the Brewers have had their opportunities as well. A lot of offense, a lot of base runners, a lot of pitches in this game. A typical Rockies baseball game. Every out is like pulling teeth, particularly at Coors Field.
Top of the order, Charlie Blackmon with 2 hits today, has a sac bunt. 2 for 3. He put a fastball right by him. I don't know if that was a fastball. I beg your pardon.
84.
Put whatever that was by him.
It's all relative when he's throwing, you know, off speed at 80 or 74. 84 seems pretty quick. It's all relative.
Pena made it sound good behind the plate, which is important.
Oh yeah.
The way you catch it matters. I love watching Suter pitch. He is a treat. It's one of the great things about baseball. All shapes and sizes and different skill level, and Suter's been able to figure it out. Never on anybody's prospect list. And yet here he is, back in the big leagues. Just kept getting outs and putting up numbers wherever he was.
Well, pitching in a 1-run game, right? The only left-hander down in that bullpen right now.
And a swing and a miss. Pulled the string on him, and Blackmon strikes out.
Yeah, big breaking ball. You don't see Blackmon with swings like that very often. Yeah, this pitch right here, well off the plate. And Blackmon not able to get a piece of it. 76 miles an hour.
Big breaker. The gravity ball. First out of the inning. And now here is LeMahieu. Suter got out of the last inning with a ground out and a double play. Ground ball right back to the mound. He'd love another one here. LeMahieu is 1 for 4, had an infield hit and a run scored in the 3rd. Gets jammed, and a fly ball to center field. Broxton there for out number 2. Back to first goes Cardullo.
Got in on his hands too. A couple of strikeouts, a jam shot into center field.
So 2 outs for Carlos Gonzalez. That double for Gonzalez was a hustle double, little flare that he dumped into left field. Wave and a miss. That same pitch that he got Blackman on. Baseball people use the term pitching under bat speed.
I think a little bit of it has to do with his delivery. He kind of just jumps right after you. And the fact he doesn't throw very hard kind of makes it seem a little bit quicker because of the way he delivers the baseball. Very abrupt, kind of just jumps at you.
Trying to get the Brewers 2 scoreless innings, Suter. He's got Gonzalez on the ropes, 0-2, runner at first. Brewers are trying to fight their way back. They are within a run after a 2-run 6th. And Gonzalez staying on that one, slaps it foul and out of play. You always wonder when you see a swing like that, if you're a pitcher, does it start to change what you want to do against Gonzalez? He didn't pull off that one.
Well, you don't want to really mess around too much inside either. If you pitch inside, you want to get it in there because he's got big power. They're coming inside.
And a bouncer right back to the mound. Suter flips it to first. 2 scoreless for Brent Suter. 6-5 Colorado. The Brewers within a run. Travis Shaw, he's been hot. He is due up second. See if the Brewers have a comeback in him tonight. A doubles machine to start the season. Shaw.
And also doubling the pleasure. There are a lot of things going on with Travis Shaw, who we're going to see here as well. Off to a good start. Let's see if it carries over, guys.
All right, thanks, Craig and Augie. Look forward to Brewers Live post-game as Mike Dunn, now the setup man for Colorado, at least tonight, operating as a setup man. Facing Santana, then Shaw, and then Pena.
Another guy that can rush it up there pretty good. Last year with the Marlins, you see his numbers. 51 games, a .340 earned run average. Well, that only 5 home runs out of the bullpen. Pretty good work.
1 ball, 1 strike. Santana takes strike 2. Didn't like the call.
Dunn was 6-1 out of the bullpen last year. Pretty good win-loss record for a guy that works out of the bullpen.
Yeah, starters not going deep for the Rockies generally. And this is a bullpen that blew more saves than any other in the National League last season. .28 blown saves last year and an ERA over 5, and they've addressed those issues, and they're hoping that the bullpen is going to what helps them contend in the National League West. It's a very good division. Dodgers have won the last 4 division titles in the West. 2-2 to Santana, and that's in there, a called strike 3. Santana got caught guessing. 1 away.
Dangerous to be guessing with 2 strikes. That looked like a cut fastball, maybe a slider. Didn't do a whole lot, but right down the middle.
So 1 out for Travis Shaw, and he'll face yet another left-hander. All 4 of his at-bats against left-handed pitching. First 3 against Anderson, with Shaw 2 doubles and a ground out that produced a run. 2 RBIs tonight. good fastball ate him up.
Yeah, followed up the fastball. After a good curveball for strike one, that'll slow the bat down. That curveball for a strike first pitch.
Shaw last year with Boston hit .242, 16 homers, drove in 71, and a lot of that damage came in the first half of the season. Won the job at third base. Pablo Sandoval had a down year. Hit .270 for Boston 2 years ago in 65 games after starting the year in Pawtucket. One ball, two strikes. He in the dirt.
He does stay on the baseball nicely, doesn't he? Always thinking up the middle, taking the ball to the opposite field.
Jared Hughes doing the jumping jacks. And Neftali Feliz on the right.
If the Brewers tie it up.
Rockies will have Arenado, Story, and Parra coming up. In there, a strike. Back-to-back Ks for Dunn, who is dotting the edges now.
Hey, on Saturday, April 22nd, Miller Park will be rocking to the sounds of John, Paul, George, and Ringo as the Fab Four take over the ballpark for Beatles Night, presented by Wisconsin Lottery. Watch the crew take on the Cardinals, then stick around after the game for a Beatles-themed post-game laser show.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
You Beatles fan?
Sure.
Who isn't?
Here's Manny Pena. You're going to have one of those rock parties up here for the laser show? Those post-game rock parties in the booth?
I haven't decided yet.
It's a tough invitation, man.
Are you going to be here for it?
I will not.
Oh, forget it.
That's usually when I get an invitation, when you know I'm not going to be here.
It's not a party when you're not here.
Nah. You know me, all business, Rock.
I know. Elusive.
Pena with an RBI single and a pinch hit appearance in the 6th inning. Stayed in the game to catch. Second at bat. Brewers are down a run, 2 outs, 2-0 pitch. In there, a strike.
With the breaking ball on 2-0.
The little slider he has is obviously a comfortable pitch for him. Back-to-back strikeouts, backwards Ks with that breaking ball. And Pena's late on the fastball. Coming in at 93, quickly 2-2. Pena figures to get the start behind the plate tomorrow with Peralta on the mound. We'll see. But that seems like something Craig Counsell would do. Although the manager did ask us not to predict his catching situation. He says, I don't even know what I'm doing with my catchers, so don't try to figure out a pattern.
Well, you figure he's not going to have Pena on the bench too long.
They'll ask. He did not go. He checked his swing. And it's 3-2. That was pretty close to being a called strike 3.
A little bit up, not much. Yeah, he held up. I called down there at first base.
Right where Walters wanted it. Dunn's got good command. Pena's got to hope for a mistake here. Pena's got some pop. Full count, 2 outs. And he pulls one foul. Pena hit for a high average last year in AAA. Hit .329 at Colorado Springs, and he got called up. Hit .254 in the big leagues in 33 games.
And he's handled himself very well behind home plate as well. Got a good throwing arm.
Got him. 3 consecutive Ks, all looking. And Mike Dunn impressive in the 8th inning.
He used to say it.
Now you made me a little sad.
Yeah.
Vin,
They tell
greatest
me.
voice ever.
He used to say, they tell me that. I get it.
He has. I wonder what Vin's doing now. You think he's watching baseball? Probably not. Jared Hughes in the game for the Brewers. It's weird to have a baseball season without Vin Scully.
I bet he was at opening day, wasn't he?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't know.
Hit Steve Jock Peterson's grand slam.
He said, well, it's a day game. I've got things to do probably. Already miss Vin.
It's not going to be the same in L.A., right?
Arenado on a hop to Arcia. Picks it clean and throws him out. And Arenado is retired.
Brewers picked up Jared Hughes right after spring training. Picked him up for the Pirates. He appeared in yesterday's ball game. Gave up a run in an inning of work. He pitched the 9th yesterday. He sprints in from the bullpen, a la Todd Coffey, remember?
I do remember.
A full-out sprint.
Here's Story. By the way, Rod, they tell me that Vin Scully spent opening day yesterday paying bills at the car wash, and then he went to the hardware store.
Okay.
So he did have a lot to do.
All right.
I think Bill Plaschke of the LA Times came up with most of that. Which is kind of impressive that he would get that kind of information.
Yeah, right. I'm surprised they make Vin Scully pay for anything.
Do you just call Vin Scully, or does he text? Hit him up on Facebook. Oh, and 2 the count to Story. Well, looking ahead to the Brewer 9th. It'll be the bottom of the order. Hughes trying to keep it at a 1-run deficit. You might be able to hear Hughes grunt after pitches.
He is very intense out there in the mound. I mean, his facial expressions, and
he's got a lot going on between the ears.
Yeah.
Talks to himself. Ground ball specialist. Had some good years with the Pirates, but a bad spring, and he got waived. He had plenty of suitors, but the Brewers were the team he landed on. He felt like he could be an impact pitcher at the back of the bullpen with Milwaukee, and they have obliged so far. He's been in high leverage situations. Come on, baby, let's go, he says. Pep talk. Full count to Story. Is it a little unnerving as a hitter to look out and see a pitcher who's at least in a between the lines context not quite right?
Well, talking to himself. I'd rather have a guy talking to himself than squinting like he can't see.
That's a good point. Or screaming. John Lackey's a guy who does a lot of yelling on the mound, usually at the umpires or his teammates.
Right.
Full count. Do it again, and he missed badly, and Story is on via the walk.
Brew Crew still not able to come up with a 3-up, 3-down inning.
Man on with 1 out, and here comes Gerardo Parra, who's had a big night tonight. 3 hits, 3 RBIs. All 3 of those ribbies came with a double in the 3rd inning. That's been the big hit of the game. And the Brewers have been playing catch up since. At that time, it was 4-1 Colorado. Runner goes. Throw to second. Pena. Oh, and the ball hit the runner.
That's a heck of a throwing arm right there. Good quick release right on the money. Not much he could do about that. That's a good throw.
I think Arcia was trying to let the ball travel as deep as it could, but he missed it, and it hit the runner coming in, and safe is the call. It's a stolen base for Story.
That's a big jump. Look at this throw. I'm not sure it would have mattered. That was a terrific throw by Manny Pena. He would have been safe anyway, I think, or it would have been close.
He just missed it.
Yeah.
Man,
I guess he would have been out had he caught it. Would have been bang bang. That would have been one that either team would have gone to a review.
So a runner at second base for Parra. Command was at the heart of the problems for Jared Hughes with the Pirates. Even though he rallied a little bit last year, he got off to a really bad start with Pittsburgh last season. Sinker ball just not consistent. In the air to left field. Braun toward the line. Makes the catch for out number 2.
He still rushes it up there pretty good. Low 90s. 91 and 93. That last one at 93 miles an hour. But again, that's not his game. His game is to have some sink and get the ground ball outs. It's unusual to have a guy that is a sinker pitcher to have that kind of intensity out on the mound. I don't remember that when we played the Pirates and Hughes was out on the mound. I guess he didn't pay much attention to it.
Well, the booth is about 6 miles from the field,
Yeah,
so
he might have. Yeah.
not something you would notice. Looks like a little ant. Overall, last year his ERA was 3.03. It's a good number, but his last 39 games, his earned run average was 2.23 last season. It was a bit of a surprise that he got released or put on waivers. That's a broken bat. Santana got a late break coming in and makes a catch. Good catch. Saves a run. Brewers on a Jesus Aguilar RBI single, but they have been playing from behind ever since that 4-run third inning. And the new Rockies closer is on. Greg Holland got a save yesterday, coming back from Tommy John surgery.
Yep, didn't use too many pitches. 14 pitches. He did walk a batter. Yeah, he missed all of last year, but had some big save seasons with the Royals.
Eric Thames will lead off. He'll pinch hit for the Brewers in this 9th inning. Thames, Arcia, Hernan Perez to start it. Thames did not get the start tonight. They used Aguilar at first instead, with the left-handed starter on the mound, and now Thames gives Craig Counsell some pop off the bench. Thames had a good debut yesterday. You know, the nerves were raging yesterday, back in the big leagues after 3 years in Korea. Thames hit second yesterday, drove in 2 runs with a double in a 5-run 5th inning. Also walked. 2 balls and a strike.
Good opposite field power. We saw that throughout the spring. Hit a double in that direction yesterday.
Thames faced Holland yesterday, lined out to center. Strike 2. Two and 2 the count. And he got him. Thames is gone.
Breaking pitch.
That is 4 consecutive outs that have been via the strikeout, all 4 looking.
And I'm looking for a fastball. Got a slider. It was right down the middle, and Thames knew it. Actually shows it right on the corner.
1 away. Greg Holland yesterday made his first appearance since September 18th of 2015. Sitting all of last year with the Tommy John surgery. Picked up his first save since September 17th of 2015. At one point was one of the dominant closers in the game. Part of that World Series Royals team. Back-to-back World Series teams. Kirk Neuenhuis hitting for Arcia. And it's quickly 0-2. Neuenhuis pinch hitting, 9th inning. Brewers down a run. And a little half swing. Did he go? He did not. Joe West enthusiastically says he checks his swing.
Right.
Joe's got to be in a really good mood right now. This game started at 6:40 Central.
It's been an easy day down there at third base for Joe. It's the first time we've actually seen him. Right? Not much action over there.
1 ball, 2 strikes. On the ground, out in the grass. LeMahieu hits the pitcher. Holland covering. 2 outs. And the Brewers down to their last out with Hernan Perez coming up.
Yeah, good job by Reynolds to get out of there. He realized that Holland was going to be able to make the play at first base. Would have been interesting had Reynolds tried to get back. But they did get the out.
All right, so Perez trying to keep this game going and get VR to the plate. Hernan with his 3rd at bat. Came in on a double switch, has a strikeout and a line out. Oh, that's a nasty slider.
Well, he's throwing a slider and a curveball. It makes it a little bit more difficult to figure out what he's going to do, and he's been locating the fastball.
Brewers Trying to avoid an 0-2 start to the season at the hands of the Rockies, and now Colorado is a strike away. Holland threw 14 pitches yesterday to earn the save. Two gone, 0-2 the count. And that's it. Holland strikes out Perez, and this remade Rockies bullpen is the real deal to start the season. Holland picks up his second save in as many nights, and the Brewers fall to 0-2 to get the season started. Tyler Anderson the winner. Zach Davies takes a loss, and on 12 hits Colorado wins it by a final of 6-5. Time for Brewers Live. We check in with Craig Kishon. He is standing by. Take it away, Craig.
Okay, BA, another tough one here. Another close game, but the Brewers come up short. We're going to hear from Craig Counsell and take a look at a